Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with the 8th video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Bloodborne. In the last video, we'd made it through Yahar Ghul and made it here to the Advent Plaza, defeating the One Reborn. We then also backtracked to the Cathedral Ward and finally made it to the Upper Cathedral Ward, and fought two more bosses, the Celestial Emissary and Abritus, Daughter of the Cosmos, getting us a couple of trophies along the way. But if you come back here to the Advent Plaza, we can now head inside this building here and interact with this familiar or unfamiliar looking fellow depending on how many times you've played this game. Now then, as I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this area, we are in the lecture building. Now the only difference is that we are on the second floor. Now, for the most part, there isn't anything to talk about on the second floor, as the only important stuff was on the first. But what we're just going to do is simply just run past everything here and make it to this door. Now, like always, if you want to fully explore this area, you can. But now we're going to move on. Now then, after going through the door, you'll be here in the Nightmare of Mensis. Now this first section is one I'm just going to simply run through so we can actually just talk and walk. But as you'll see, we can just run through a majority of this area, and you can see that I am online. Now, one thing I will say is, as you'll see the giant light coming from the tower just up ahead, it's going to be a big factor on a good section, or good first chunk of section of this area. For those of you who don't know, Frenzy, once that bar fills up, it will take away, I think, 90% of your HP. It is quite ridiculous. But anyways, if you come across the bridge and over here to the left, we can finally enter the building. Now, if you're fast enough, most of these giant dudes won't be able to do anything to us, and we can make it to the door. Now don't worry, we're just going to be skipping past all these spiders and things like that. Like I said, we're just going to be running through the first half of this area. We're going to run past this hunter dude. Gonna hit this guy a couple times just to get him out of the way. Gonna keep running, just keep running. Run past these enemies here. Just keep on running. If you can, bait that enemy into attacking. That way you don't get hit when you're on the elevator here, as you'll see. But we're almost through the first half of this area. So now coming along here, we can run up stairs here. And just over here you will find your first big shortcut. So taking this down will lead us to a new lantern, as you'll see right below us. So we're going to grab that while we can. As you'll see, that's where the giant eye brain thing will be sitting at. Now, we will interact with that later on, so don't worry. Now from here, it's going to come inside. Nothing too crazy, of course. But now we have made it to our first boss of the Nightmare of Mensis. And once you're ready, we will enter the boss room. Upon entering, you'll have your cutscene. Now, best thing that I find is just to run straight forward here, come up the stairs, and you'll find him. Now, for some reason, he doesn't always like to cooperate. There we go. All you want him to do is to run in a straight line into this room right here. This skips a good portion of the first half of this boss fight. Then you're just going to play cat and mouse by taking on these enemies here. Now do note that these guys don't actually heal you. Which is unfortunate. But as you can see, you can kind of just stick to the right-hand side of Mikalash, host of the Nightmare. Not sure what's going on here. But you do want to be careful, as the attack that he likes to spam during this phase does hurt quite a lot. That attack right there. That's why I always say to make sure that you leave yourself some stamina to dodge. Now, once he disappears at half health, you're just going to come up the stairs, and you should now be able to enter this door. Now, heading off to the left down here, at the bottom, you'll find some important things. Yes, I know we're doing this all during a boss fight. Do be careful, as these guys do hurt quite a bit. But anyways, now we'll find a bloodstone chunk, you'll find a sedative, and then at the very bottom here, as you'll find more enemies.
Some say
once we deal with these guys here. Now I know that this fight is already long enough as is, I do apologize for this. But there's something we're going to grab right here, and that is the moon rune. Do note you can stack moon runes, so don't worry about missing out, as you can always go and grab the others. But now we can head up the stairs here. On the side here, you'll find some blood vials in case you were running low. But now we've made it onto the weird section, I guess, or the annoying section. From here, we're going to just chase after this guy. He'll jump into these weird mirrors. Now, the first one that he jumps in, you can then come to the left, just down the stairs, and you'll find him normally right below us, as you'll see. Here you'll find some frenzied cold blood. Now, upon shooting him, as you'll see, it doesn't really do much, as he's just going to keep teleporting back. Trying to see if I can poison him or not, but eventually he will teleport away. So this area is probably going to be the most annoying for anybody having to do this. Trust me, I know. As it is entirely just cat and mouse. But basically you'll just have to maneuver around and you'll eventually find him again. He'll stay in this new area, so don't worry about him like going somewhere else. Luckily, these enemies don't have high health bars. What is he in the... Ah, there he is. But yeah, this is all you're going to be doing. And then eventually he should go into this room here. So then all you're going to do is just come back up. Then you can come over. And then if I remember correctly... No.
Ah, cause.
This is probably the section I always forget. The most...
Cause, let us sit up chatting your idea.
Okay. I think it's over here. Yeah. Once he comes into this room here... Then he'll start spamming the... As you'll see, now that he's trapped and can't teleport anymore, he becomes much easier to deal with. I do remember in the older versions, he never came into this room, and it was a pain. But upon defeating him, you'll get the mensis cage. And the bridge will raise itself. And you can now exit this area, of course. But from here, all you're going to want to do is just go all the way back up. Keep going all the way. And as you'll see, you can now come across this bridge. Grab some bloodstone chunks. So now we'll be at the middle section of the nightmare. One boss down, one more to go. Alright, so from the middle, we're going to be heading up and to the left. Now, we're going to be doing a side area and getting us our last hunter tool, as well as setting up some other stuff. So coming up the stairs and then heading off to the right, you'll have this elevator you can enter. Now, I recommend having your back faced like so, and then once you reach a certain point, you're just going to back step into this little area. It is very trial and error. It's a bit annoying. But over here you'll find a chest. You'll find an inflicted organ. Now from here you're going to want to use the blue elixir. Now if you have it, that's great. If not, oh well. Now if you happen to have any sedative, by all means. What you're going to want to do is just run through this area. If your frenzy meter gets a little too high, then all you're going to want to do is then pop a sedative. As you'll see, like so. Coming into this room here with all of the bowl cut spiders. You're going to come down here and you're going to interact with this lever. Like so. This will cause the brain to fall. I'll let the cutscene play out so you can actually see it. As you'll see. Now we will go and find that brain, so don't worry. Now from here you're actually going to want to drop down this hole. And the last hunter tool we have is just over here. So I'm going to drink another blue elixir. Come over here. And we're going to take out this winter lantern. Now, as you'll see, that frenzy hurt quite a lot. But upon opening this chest here, you should get a gold trophy for getting all of the hunter tools. And you'll get the choir bell. Now from here, we're just going to backtrack and come across over here. Now we can loot everything that is in this little side area. And then we're going to get the option to upgrade our weapon to its final form. See all these Great One Wisdoms here, that's always nice. But coming over here, you'll have this area, as you'll see right here, that you can drop down. And right here, you'll get your one and only Blood Rock. I do think there is one more you can get in the game through Chalice Dungeons or at the Messengers. But that will allow you to upgrade any weapon of your choice all the way up to +10. Now we're not quite done yet. We're back here at this dude. And what you're going to want to do is simply just come all the way back down. Just run past everything. Run past this lady here, and here you'll see a new elevator that you can take down. Wasn't here before. That guy just dropped to his death. Oh well. Now one thing you can do and equip is a hunter's torch. This will give you some light to see in the area. But from here you should see the Great One right here. All you're going to want to do is use make contact for him, and you're going to wait till this gesture switches and your left arm is down and your right arm is up and so on, and that will get you your next moon rune. As you can see, upon doing so, you'll get your third moon rune. And now the last thing that we have to do, sadly, is we do have to take out this, I guess, Great One. But we're going to just take it out. As you can see, it does have quite a lot of HP. So I'm now going to skip to when it is defeated, because it drops a crafting item that we need for the Chalice Dungeons. And just like that, you will get the living string. But now we are going to use our bold hunter's mark and head back. Alright, now back at the middle, we're actually going to progress through the area like normal. Now this is another area that you can more or less just run through and be fine. Now this area can play a bit of an importance in blood echo farming, but that will be probably in its own separate video. But as you can see, you can just run past all of the Shadow of Yharnam enemies. Here you'll have one of these mutated boars. Find some kin cold blood here. Now, as you can see, I'm just running past everything. There's no need to have to stop and fight anything. However, the best part is right about here. Once you run past those shadows, you'll notice that the boars will literally damage them, and you will see that they start to fight each other, and this will get you some blood echoes, as you'll see. I think for everyone defeated, gets you at least a couple thousand. and then you can always come and clean up when it's all said and done. And this can get you some blood vials. And quicksilver bullets, of course. As you can see, just like that, we got a couple, like, what, 20k or something like that. From here, you will have this lady here that you're just going to want to give a good smack to. Over here on the left, you'll find another shortcut, but I don't think we really need it at this point. But down here you will find a chest. Like so. Well, that is surprising. Oh well. It's kind of weird that Yusefka's blood is here. Anyways, now we can head on up and fight the next boss. Like always, once you guys are ready, you can use fire or lightning or bolt, whatever one is happy or works for you, and we'll equip the tiny music box. But like always, once you're ready, you can enter the boss arena. Now we have our next boss, Murgo's Wet Nurse. This boss can be somewhat hard depending on if you're not familiar with movesets or dodging. That attack in particular can one-shot if you were unlucky. Then you have this attack here that is more or less a spam. But for Murgo's Wet Nurse, it's best just to stay right behind it, as you'll see that I am doing. Whenever it does this, and it goes purple, all you're going to want to do is simply run around the arena. As he summons a temporary clone of himself. Now, it's not permanent, but it can be quite annoying. So just play defensive. As you'll see, then it will go away. Then it'll be back to business as usual. As you'll see, it's an easy fight once you know how to deal with it. He will teleport around. But just like that, he goes down, or they go down. Using the tiny music box now will kind of stop the baby from crying. And then you just have to wait for it to play out, and the nightmare will be slain. You'll get another 1/3 of an umbilical cord. As you will see, we have 2 now. And I'm going to show you now where you can get the 3rd one, and that is actually going to be back at Yusefka's clinic. Now, I'm going to state, yes, the dream will be on fire, and I'll show you that now. Alright, as you can see, we are back at the dream and the house is on fire. Now, first and foremost, all you're going to want to do is go back to the first floor sick room. Remember how I said back during the Forbidden Woods and Canehurst video that you're not going onto the left side of the Yusufka's clinic? Well, now we're finally going to be going back there. And I'll show you why. Yusufka's clinic, as you'll see, we can now head back the way we came, or head back into the clinic. Just gonna follow this around. Finally, head off to the left side here. Take off the torch. You'll just head inside and up. And if done correctly, as you'll see, you'll find this person sitting here on the operating table, acting kind of weird. You're just going to want to give her a hit, and you'll get your one-third of an umbilical cord. Now we're not quite done yet, as we're then going to head all the way back to the Grand Cathedral where we fought Vicar Amelia. So I'll see you there. Now do note, we are fighting an NPC there, so do be careful upon heading back. Just outside of the Grand Cathedral where you fought Vicar Amelia, you will find Eileen the Crow.
I pray.
She will warn you not to head inside, as there is a tough hunter that is waiting. Now I will testify to this, as he is a very tough fight. He basically uses the Rakuyo and uses the old hunter bone. So do be careful of that when fighting him. I'm going to skip to me defeating him and all of that, and then going back to Eileen and getting our next hunter badge. Alright, upon defeating him, you will get the Blood Rapture rune. Now, a good method that I found is just to lure him towards the stairs over here, and you can use, I think it's 3 or 4 poison knives will add poison onto him, and upon doing so, for some reason, and fighting him here on the stairs, it makes it harder for him to hit his gun on you. It's not impossible for him to do it, but it is less likely that he'll hit it. But after you defeat him, you can then come out and talk to Eileen, and she will give you the Crow Hunter badge and the Hunter rune as well. So now we're going to head back into the Hunter's Dream, and that is probably going to end this video. Like always, I do hope that this video and this guide has been helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form. As always, though, I am Mr. Pilgrim, and I will see you all in the next video.